Alright guys, we're here at Cutters HQ today. We're doing a new Hoyt RX8 build. We're going to build it for me actually. Sorry about the background noise, they're actually building the stabilizers as we speak. Well, we got the bourbon riser, got the subalpine limbs, and an 80 pounder. So we're going to get this thing ready for this upcoming deer season. It's, I think, March right now, so we're going to have plenty of time to get this thing locked and ready to go for this season. So first thing that I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put this thing, actually I'm going to put this grip tape on. I always take the grips off of my bows. It's just one thing that I've always been I always really like having a skinny grip on my bow. So I'm going to throw some grip tape on there. That'll be the first thing. And just make it look kind of, make the grip tape look good on there while also having the purpose of keeping my grip in the same spot every time I draw the bow back. So there we got our grip done. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to move on to our rest. And since it's already here, I want to do this while it's sitting up and get this lined up. So we're not going to do that in the bow press. Alright, so we've got the new QAD Integrate MX. So it's a micro adjust QAD. It's one of the most popular rests out. I've really liked using it for the past couple years. I've had the MXT on my old bow. That didn't have the Integrate, so what we're actually going to do is the Integrate style stuff, which I'll run a Picatinny site as well. The Integrate style stuff keeps it so there's no weight pretty much on the right side of your bow except for your quiver. That'll just make it so you don't have to use as much weight on your sidebars as you would if there was more weight on that side of your bow. So with these, we're just going to unlock this, a little Allen wrench. Get the right size, get that unlocked, and set that to the side, because this will go on later, and that'll really lock it in. But there's this little piece, this is what your adjustment runs off of, and it runs off of a really tiny little Allen wrench, but you can loosen this up. Grab the screws out of their packaging, get the Allen keys out of their packaging, because it might be something specific. And I don't want to strip anything out today. So we're going to grab this, loosen this up, and all that's doing is allowing it to open, and then we can line it up. There's a little line right here, which would be center. That'd be the center of your burger hole. We're just going to line that up real quick. Slide that down, and as you can see, there's a little line right here, and I'm just going to line those exactly up with each other and start tightening down. Alright, so we got that on. This cord, I'm probably going to change this out just to color coordinate a little bit. I might run this as pink, but we'll do that a little later when we actually go to put this inside of our drop cable or our down cable. But we can get our sight. I'm running a Excel landslide 5-pin and the Picatinny mount. As you can see, this is by far probably one of the best sights that is out right now for the Picatinny mounts. One thing I love about it is it keeps it super close. As you see you'll see when I put it on the riser. A lot of your Picatinny mount sights are pushing it out farther, and I want to run that as close as possible, just so I can drop my sight down farther and get a little extra distance out of it. So I'm going to run this probably on the middle setting for right now. Actually, you know what, we're going to run it on the bottom one, because I kind of have a feeling that's where I'm going to need it for. I shoot a fairly low peep height, so that is probably going to be just about right. And just to be safe, I like to take a little Allen key, lock that thing in, just so it's not going to go anywhere. I don't know if I'll ever really want to take this off, but if I travel or anything, I always have a set of Allen wrenches with me. I'll take that off. If I have to travel, or if I'm going to pack in, then the nice thing about these is this little dial up here, or this little screw, you'll be able to loosen this just like this, and you can take your whole housing off. take your whole housing off like that. That'll allow so you don't mess with any of your pins, and it'll always go back into the same spot. Pop that back on. Lock that in. All right, it's looking pretty good right about now. Now we're going to take our cutter stabilizers. We're going to get that mounted on. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to run it yet. I'm just going to get an idea, but I'm probably going to take this completely off, and I'm going to run the front bar off of the bottom. So this little thing, I'm going to take that off for now. I might bring it back. I don't exactly know yet. We're going to take our cutter stabilizers, QD, and I'm running a straight. I've always had better luck with straights. That's just kind of personal preference for me. Just one of those things that once you find something that works, why change? And I'm running a 10-inch front bar and a 8-inch side bar. So that 10 is right here. I'm going to take this, screw that down, and then this will just lock right in like so. There you go. And then I'm going to run the Cordillera bracket up top, and I'm going to run that off the side. And on my old bow, with all the weight on the side and having to run it here, same thing with the sight. It was always ran off of the side holes. With not having to do that now, I'm probably going to be able to run this a little closer to the bow instead of having to run it straight out. But once again, this is all something else that we're just going to keep having to try and go from there. There we go. So that's the basic setup. We've got rest on. What we're going to do is we're probably going to get this kind of center shot right now, and then we'll go into the bow press and get the D-loop on, get my little knock sets in, get the peep in, get my rest cord in. I think we're going to end up running that through here. We'll figure that out as we go. But so this is our basic setup for right now. I'm going to grab an arrow, and I actually have a nock here, a nocturnal, because I shoot lighted nocks during the season. You always want to make sure your nocks are going to fit properly. There it is. So I had two different nocks. I had regular gold tip kinetic nocks, or Accu nock, and then a gold tip. See, those fit a little looser. Let's see what these nocturnals do. The nocturnals click on and do almost exactly what I want them to do. So I'm going to pop this knock off completely and just run the gold tip knock, or I mean the nocturnal. It's just something that I like to do. Make sure you have good knock fit. See how you can slide it up and down the string, but it actually has a physical click once it gets onto the string itself. So let's get this thing leveled up. Let's see. Let's get ourselves a string level. So we're pretty level right now. Oh. Right there. Let's see what this does. There we go. Pretty level there. Now we're going to run an arrow level just to make sure. And we're going to get this kind of set on height. So you can see right now. I'll run that out a little farther. Right in there. Right there is going to be about our height. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark that with a little Sharpie. Let's see here. I'm going to mark the top and the bottom. Once I do that, I'll be able to take this off. I'm going to tie a couple knock sets in here, and then I'll tie the top one first, Then I'll put the arrow back on, and I'll give it about a serving or two with the space, and then tie the bottom one on. So I think we're ready to go to the bow press now. What we're going to do is we're going to put this in the bow press. In the meantime, I'm going to change this cord out. All it is a little Allen screw, and you slide that out. And then we'll get the peep sight in. We're going to get it about the same height as what the old peep sight was, and then get a D-loop tied on. Then we'll be ready to go over to paper. All right, so now that we got this in here, we got our rest cord changed out to the pink, just because we like the pink. What we're going to do is we're going to get the peep sight set in. And I'm going to just compare it to my old bow, kind of figure out where it might have to go. This is a little different axle to axle, so it might have to go a little higher or lower depending on that. Get that set in. We'll get the rest cord set in, and then we will get the D-loop tied on, and we should be able to go take our first shots through this thing. So let's get this cranked in. All right, and we're just about perfect. It's all the way up there, so it's got a little bit extra, but it's not pulling on the cable at all, so it's not going to have any effect on what we do with tuning. So I'm just going to take a little piece of D-loop material, or I mean not D-loop, serving material, tie it around that peep so when we go out and shoot, it doesn't fly out. But we're going to get this thing, we're going to go take a few shots with this thing quick. Where is my serving material? We've got this thing set. Got about a center shot on it, and we're going to give this thing a first shot through paper and see what she does. Actually, not terrible. Just to make sure. I'll have to do a little bit of work on the peep height, but overall, it's not terrible. That for now. Perfect. All right. Top this down a little bit. All right, so that's going to be our conclusion on our basic setup for our new 2024 RX8. And we will keep you posted as we go through the season and start getting this thing really tuned up for broadheads, and we'll get testing this thing out at longer ranges, see how far we can get a sight tape out to. But can't thank the guys from Cutters enough. Best bars on the market, super small diameter, made in the USA, and I've been loving them ever since I started shooting them. Can't thank those guys enough for letting me use the headquarters here, and yeah, let's get ready for elk season.